to show you a few poses and moves and asana that I really like to use for low back pain relief, especially through the journey of pregnancy and the postpartum journey. We often carry a lot of tension in our low back, and our low back has a lot of different pulls and pushes on it than we're used to in our normal daily lives. So easing that back pain, which affects a great percentage of pregnant people and postpartum people, can be really helpful. This first exercise you can take from your back. You can also take this in a seated position or from an exercise ball. So I'll show you both of those. So you'll bring yourself over to a wall, and we'll place our feet on the wall. So especially if you're early postpartum, you take care with your body laying onto your side, rolling onto your back, and find a place, both your feet planted flat and firm on the wall. And here we're just finding a neutral position in our pelvis. So it actually takes some pelvic tilt from this position. And so tipping the tailbone towards the sky, and then tipping it back towards the floor. So finding your lower back pressing to the floor and finding length there, and then rocking the tailbone back down towards the floor. Okay. And put your hands on your pelvis if that feels good. To like find yourself tipping in space. So some gentle pelvic tilts. I like the feedback of the floor here for a massage onto the spine. And feeling the muscles, feeling the space spread onto the floor. But again, if you're not comfortable laying on your back, or if you're at a place in your pregnancy journey where that is not something that's been recommended to you, and then we can take the same action on an exercise ball or on a chair. And so I'll grab my exercise ball. Right. You can just find a place where your feet are nice and wide apart, nice and balanced. And again, finding these pelvic tilts here. And so you'll find a little less massaging of the low back, but you'll still find that movement to the spine. So bringing the tail forward, tipping it back, right? And really finding some support through the low belly. So gentle hug of baby, right? And so you can find a lengthening of the low back as you tuck, right? And then maybe even a more gentle hug of baby as you go back. And so finding length in the low back area. Okay, so again, you can stay here on a ball or on a chair. If you're on a ball, I'm going to find some stability for this next position. So maybe you're actually on a chair, or maybe you're leaning against the wall. We're going to take a figure four of the legs. So if you're on a ball and you feel stable, right, you're at a place where you're balanced. Right here, you can take your right ankle across your left knee, turning to a figure four position. If you're on your back, feet against the wall. So again, both feet on the wall. If you're in a chair, both feet planted firmly onto the floor. And with just knees stacked over hips. I'm going to bring the right ankle across the left knee. And so here, right, again, just finding some relaxation, some deep breaths. Right, you can, if it feels good, need more intensity. In the stretch, you can bring your hands behind your thigh. You can scoot your bum closer to the wall. You can also walk this opposite foot up higher to bring less sensation into the outside of the hip here. Right? So all of these options for you here are just getting into, hopefully, our glute med, our piriformis, finding a little release there in the back. So often our toes turn out in pregnancy, we're standing in an imbalanced way, maybe we're sitting more than normal, and those muscles can start to tighten up. And so finding a little bit of stretch there can help find some balance, right, in those muscles that are close to our low back that create tension to the low back area. And so you can stay here as long as feels good, and then come to a switching position, and where our right foot is down, our left foot is crossed over. Really flex the crossed foot here, so we're creating stability through the joints, so that our stretch and our rotation is happening in the hip area. Again, you can choose to increase sensation. You can choose to lessen the sensation by moving the foot up the wall. And the same is true, right, in a chair, where you can Take a hinge forward from the hips, keep the back nice and long to find more sensation in the outer hip area, in the glute area, in the piriformis. Right? So take what you need for your body and just find some deep breaths. Okay. And then gently bring the feet down towards the floor, roll onto the side, and taking care, sit up gently. And so the next thing that we're going to do is an L stretch of the wall. So again, coming to the wall. Here you'll find a standing position, right? And we'll take our hands to the wall and our feet will move away, creating an L shape with our body. Right. We're going to walk our feet back. Our hips are over our ankles. And so here, I'm pressing the wall away, right, finding my ears between my arms. And it can feel really nice to stretch across the chest, right, especially if we're pregnant or postpartum. Sometimes we find more congestion in the chest area. But that's not what we're doing here. You can take a few minutes to do so if that feels really nice and a stretch you need. Right, but then we're pressing into the wall. Wrapping the outer edges of the shoulder blades wide into the floor, so we're getting more space there and then press away. Wrap your inner thighs back and traction your hips away from your armpits. Right, this creates length in the low back. And even here, maybe your inner thighs spread wide and away to widen the sit bone. So it'll create even more space in the low back body. And just deep breaths. Hugging baby in and up, or finding that transverse abdominis, low belly activity. Keeping the knees as bent as you need to really find the space to drag your hips back and away from the wall. Press into the wall. You're actively creating length. And just slowly start to come up, walk the feet back in towards the wall, and release. And now if standing at the wall feels like too much, you can do the same thing on a chair or on a exercise ball. Right? So here, I can gently sit back on my heels and then just gently roll away. So still finding this L shape, right, with my body. Still finding actively pressing down into the ball to wrap my upper interstitial glutes around towards the floor. Right, and then finding the hips dragging back. So I'm still finding that inner thigh spiraling back, widening sit bones away and finding a lot of length through the body. Right, and this pressure down the ball really important to find connection along the front side of the body, activity along the front side of the body to find even more length along the back side body. And then I can gently just sit back on the heels. So again, on a chair, on the wall, on a ball, all different variations. So another one that I really like is this very similar shape to the L stretch, but it's from this kneeling position or a seated position. And you can always add extra puffs if it feels better for your body. So sometimes it feels better to add some padding, some kind of pillow or something between your bum and your heels to create a little bit more lift, a little bit more length in the low back, and also a little bit ease on the knees. So with this ball, we can find this lengthening stretch out, and you can take it a little bit to each side, find more stretch along the side body. Again, getting a little bit more space in the low back area. So here I sit back on my heels, take the ball out in front of me, and hug baby up and in, exhale. And on my inhale, just really rolling out, finding length. And maybe my hips lift off of my heels. Or maybe they stay, but really rolling out to find the length through the side body, through the low back. And then exhale, rolling back up and in. Okay? And again, I can continue up straight and long and forward. Or I can start to take this motion up or to the side. So first finding length forward, all of the length. And then at the end of my inhale, stretching over a little bit more towards the side body. And exhaling to center, rolling back up and in. So I can inhale forward for length. At the end of the inhale, just finding a little stretch over towards the side, more stretch along the side body. And then gently exhale, sit up nice and tall. Right? Inhale, length. Maybe a little side stretch, and then exhale. Nice and tall. And then take one more to the side. can take as many as you want, finding the length of the body, however it feels really good for you. Find that space, however long it feels good for you. Again, a great thing to do if you're at the end of the day decompressing from your day, maybe turning the TV to zone out a little bit, or maybe listening to a book on tape, right? You can do these moves, right? So the last thing here, so this can be great for prenatal and postpartum people. You can use a block, you can use a bolster, something softer, right? So we're always trying to find a 15-degree elevation of our hips for people who are farther along in our pregnancy. So this is at least 15 degrees. Right? So rolling onto my back, I press down to lift the hips up, and I'm just settling the hips down onto the block. Now the block is underneath the triangular shaped bone at the base of my spine, the sacrum. It's not on my lumbar spine, right? Some of that flat-ish bony surface at the base of my spine is settling on the block. And this is a restorative bridge pose, and this can immediately, you can start to feel the weight of your hips, the weight of your sacrum settling into the block, right? Creating some neutralization in the low spine. Right? And even here, take a moment, just lengthen to the crown of the head, and then relax shoulders, relax neck, relax hips down. Right? If you'd like, you can take your feet wider and knock your knees in together, right? Or you can just leave your feet underneath your knees. Right? But just starting to release the weight into the floor. Right? You can stay here again for as long as feels good, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, maybe just 1 minute. And just breathing and letting your body, the weight of your body on the block, just start to bring some balance and bring some restoration into your low spine. And when you're done, again, just taking care to gently roll to the side and sit up nice and tall. So these simple moves can really help, again, to bring some restoration into your low back, some space into your low spine, and to ease some of the discomforts that come along with the postpartum and pregnancy journey. So I hope that incorporating these into your daily routine will help you find a little bit more balance. If you have any questions or concerns, please always reach out to me at birthmoves.com, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.